What's good? It's your boy Fanon. Going to talk about little Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, and the fact that the honeymoon is about to be over with Anthony Joshua and the way that this cat is behaving. In the United States, it's looking tough on him. There's a whole lot of pressure from fans that don't appreciate the way that he said that he wasn't going to let Deontay Wilder into the ring. Also, my understanding is that on the UK side of things, that he's got a little pressure coming over there with people wanting to see him in there with Tyson Fury. So there's apparently a lot of pressure on this young man because of the way that his career is progressing, and then people wanting to see, rightfully so, him fight the two main guys in the heavyweight division, other than himself. Provided, of course, that he gets past Joseph Parker. But before I do that, I'm going to play for you the reason, and I'll discuss it. Comments by Eddie Hearn that I think explains why Anthony Joshua does not want Deontay Wilder in that ring, because he has no plans on fighting him. You can hype a fight. He said he doesn't want to hype the fight because he doesn't have any intention on taking that fight. And I'm going to show you in the war, and I'm going to have Eddie Hearn tell you why that is. Now, before I do that, I'm going to have a live stream later today, excuse me, where we discuss these issues and others. And the best way to know about that live stream is to get notified of it. And to do that, you have to subscribe and hit the bell icon. So please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you can participate in a real-time discussion. Also hit me up on Twitter, and I share a lot of articles on that as well. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to play for you comments that were made by Eddie Hearn about his plan for Anthony Joshua, Dillian Whyte, and his feelings about where he wants to take Anthony Joshua in his career. And then we can talk about it. Also, there's going to be something in there about Luis Ortiz. And then after you listen to that, I'll come back and discuss.
We're not looking at 2 guys. We're looking at 8 guys for AJ. That's like mapping out the next 4 years. Tyson Fury, Vladimir Klitschko, Joseph Parker, Luis Ortiz, Dillian Whyte, you know?
I'm sure you wouldn't have to ask Dillian twice.
No, I was with him yesterday, but they both fancy that fight. I think, but the plan with Dillian is to get him a world title. Other than Anthony Joshua, if he has to be Anthony Joshua he gets a shot against, fine. But really, we want to go and win another belt. I'd love to see Dillian v Wilder. I'd love to see Dillian v Parker, and that's what we'll be trying to push for. I like Luis Ortiz. I like his team. It's very difficult when you've got a fighter that doesn't speak English. You know, you're trying to sell him to the media, and we had a couple of pops with him. He underperformed, and he knows that. But he's a very good fighter. But he just doesn't have the value to be in the big fights. Doesn't mean he can't win those fights. And listen, when he carves out a mandatory position, some point you're going to have to fight him, whether there's money in the fight or not, or drop the belt. Josh doesn't have a problem fighting Luis Ortiz. There's just no money in it at the moment. When I say to Anthony Joshua sometimes, what fight do you want? He goes, Dillian Whyte.
Really?
Yeah, he really wants that rematch. You know, he really enjoyed that fight.
Well, the build up
all of it.
All right. So there you have it, man. That's Eddie Hearn speaking. That is not Fanon pulling that out of the air. I've been saying it for a while because I heard this interview take place pretty much right after, maybe 5 days or so after Anthony Joshua won that belt. And the conversation was about what he thought he wanted to do, Eddie Hearn, and what Anthony Joshua wanted to do. And you hear him, that is Eddie Hearn's voice asking him, well, what does Anthony Joshua want to do? Well, Anthony Joshua really wants to have a rematch with Dillian Whyte. That's the fight that he's very excited for. So Anthony Joshua, roughly 3 to 4 days after he won against Vladimir Klitschko, wanted first the rematch versus Vladimir Klitschko. Then he wanted to fight, and he wanted to fight Dillian Whyte. But Eddie Hearn didn't want to go straight to a rematch with Dillian Whyte. He wants Dillian Whyte to win another belt And the belt that he likes was the WBC belt against Deontay Wilder. You hear that in this interview, Eddie Hearn said that it was an 8 to 10, I think he said an 8 to 10 fight plan. That's like planning out the next 4 years. He wasn't looking at 1 or 2 fights. He was looking at planning out the next 4 years. So why would it be that Anthony Joshua wouldn't want Deontay Wilder to walk into the ring and demand a fight with him? Why is it that Eddie Hearn has all these guys that are, keep talking about Dillian White, but in hopes of having Dillian White be able to knock off Deontay Wilder so that Anthony Joshua can unify against Dillian White, not Deontay Wilder. Also in the interview, and I didn't do the whole thing. I just, I didn't play the whole thing because I'm not going to do that. You can do the research for yourself. However, please note that he also had said, and it's not in that deal, that he had actually wanted Dillian White to fight Joseph Parker because he believed that Dillian White could have beat Joseph Parker. So if things had all gone to plan, but this is, how it is in the world. Things don't always go to plan. Vladimir Klitschko didn't take that rematch, so there's one that didn't go according to plan. They felt pretty confident and they waited a long time before they fought Dillian, before Vladimir Klitschko decided that he wasn't going to be available to fight. So then they had to move on, and what did they move on to? They moved on to Kubrat Pulev. Now, I'm not going to do the research. I'm not going to put it out here for you on this particular video because I only got so much time. However, if people recall correctly, the first mandatory that was ordered was not for Pulev. It was for Luis Ortiz. The IBF belt was held by Anthony Joshua right before the WBA belt was held by him. However, he still had the after he won the title, the first people to order a mandatory was the WBA and Luis Ortiz. And you also heard what their thoughts were on Luis Ortiz, that they don't want the fight because it's hard to sell. Whatever the justification was, he didn't want to fight Luis Ortiz. He doesn't want to fight Deontay Wilder. What they want to do is they want to fight Dillian White. Now, since they had, and I didn't put that particular part of the interview in there when he talked about the fact that he thought that Dillian White could beat Joseph Parker, he also believes that Anthony Joshua can beat Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker, and right there, that's one of the guys on the list, except for they wanted Dillian White to be the one. Originally, they wanted Dillian White to be the one to beat Joseph Parker. But hey, Anthony Joshua can do it because, hey, man, Vladimir Klitschko, one of your 8 to 10 fights you're planning, fell out. So, hey, man, why not fill it in with him? But it's clear why he doesn't want to let Deontay Wilder in the ring. He doesn't want to fight him. And what kind of dude is that? You're just going to say, no, who do you really want to fight? And this is Eddie Hearn. Oh, I want to fight Dillian White. He really fancies. He had a fun time beating up on Dillian White. And at the time, clearly they must not think, they just don't want. And where was Dillian at the other point of it? Where was Deontay Wilder in the list of names that he mentioned? No, nowhere in it. Nowhere in that conversation was there any mention of Deontay Wilder fighting Anthony Joshua. It's not in their plan. They were hoping that Dillian White, and they're still hoping that Dillian White beats him, and that Dillian White gets the WBC belt, and that Anthony Joshua will be able to unify the belts by fighting Dillian White, somebody he's already knocked out. And it's right there in Eddie Hearn's voice. So I don't want to hear any more of this nonsense, man, about, hey, just give him the check. He's just signed the contract. There ain't no contract. There's not a contract. There's not a contract coming. According to what Eddie Hearn, and you heard it for yourself, what his plan is for 8 to 10 fights for Anthony Joshua, attempting to plan out the next 4 years. That is called milking the belts. It also, he mentioned, talking about Tyson Fury. It was like he was hoping that Tyson Fury was going to get suspended, and Tyson Fury was going to get in. He was going to get suspended. He was going to get fined, and then it was going to take a long time for him to be able to fight. At the time, he said, realistically, maybe April of next year, right? It's funny because the dates that he mentioned in this interview also line up. He thought that he would be fighting in, November, around November time frame. I think he said Pulev in the October-November time frame. Or it might have been, actually, I'm sorry, it might have been the Klitschko in October-November time frame. And then after that, they would proceed down that plan and deal with the mandatories, deal with the Pulevs, right? It's just, come on, man. It is what it is. And that's why I said, I did that video and I was like, look, man, this dude is scared of Deontay Wilder. Or he doesn't, I don't know, he looks scared because why else wouldn't let it, why wouldn't you want him in the ring, right? Right? Some people were saying, okay, well, it's not that he's afraid of him. He's just a businessman, and he wants a contract signed first. But as you can see out of the words of the mouth, out of the mouth of his own promoter, there's no contract coming. And I don't think people should be able to, just go ahead and blow that off. But I'm telling you, man, the pressure's getting up there, man. Because Deontay Wilder beat Luis Ortiz and Tyson Fury didn't get suspended, right? He got a retroactive suspension, right? But now he's training and ready to go. And fight fans know that they are real and that those are the fights that they want to see. On the UK side, we have several people on the channel from the UK side talking about it from the UK fan perspective. On the US perspective, I'm telling you, man, Anthony Joshua's getting tortured. For number one, for saying, as soon as he said he wasn't going to let Deontay Wilder in the ring. That is just an age-old thing. Countless people have done that. And Gennady Golovkin got in the ring with Canelo Alvarez, and there wasn't a contract. Tyson Fury got in the ring with Deontay Wilder. There wasn't a contract. Deontay Wilder got in the ring with Luis Ortiz. There wasn't a contract. Sean Porter got in the ring with Danny Garcia. There wasn't a contract. You shouldn't have to have a contract to go to look another fellow champion in the eye. And what I thought was what I still maintain is that it makes you look like you're afraid. That's one side of it. But after having just re-looked at the issue again, it's also clear that they don't have any intention, or at least I believe that they don't have any intention on fighting Deontay Wilder. That they want to coast out, get as much money, they being Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn, want to coast out with as many winnable fights as they possibly can, and they want to have their number 2 heavyweight, put him in the position of trying to knock off Deontay Wilder for Anthony Joshua so that they can get to their ultimate goal, which is to have a rematch between Anthony Joshua and Dillian White. And that, my boxing friends, is a joke. It's an absolute joke. All the other talk that Eddie Hearn is doing is just that. It's a bunch of talk. Because the plan that he had laid out, that I just played for you, the plan that he discussed, I think it was maybe 5 days after the fight ended with Joshua and Klitschko. It's playing out like that. It's playing out just like he said he wanted to see. But he had wanted to have Klitschko, but that wasn't his call. So he's been pushing since that time Dillian White onto Deontay Wilder. And now they're trying to insert into their plan Jarrell Miller. I'd be shocked if Kubrat Pulev doesn't pop up in the conversation as well, because heck, he would have had enough time to now he can do his IBF mandatory. Who's going to be the WBA mandatory, right? So you'll have Carlos Takam, if he gets past Joseph Parker, Jarrell Miller, Kubrat Pulev. Oh man, actually, and then my understanding is that what's his name? Alexander Povetkin, I think, might be creeping up the rankings too. So we'll see all of that stuff. Why he continues to push the line of Deontay Wilder needs to fight whatever the hell his name is. Anthony Joshua needs to fight Dillian White. Anthony Joshua needs to fight Dillian White. Anthony Joshua needs to fight Dillian White. But that's what it is, man. That's the plan. That's the plan that I've been talking about for a while. But I figured, you know what? Today, I'll just actually go back and find it, and I'll play it so that people can know that I'm not just making it up, because I do have a bunch of people from the UK saying things like, there's already a contract in place that is on Deontay Wilder's table that he refuses to sign. As if, the issue is that nobody knows Deontay Wilder, so it's not a fight that can be sellable. Isn't that's what Hearn just said about Ortiz? Yeah, he deserves a shot or whatever, but right now that's not a fight. No, it's not an entertaining fight. And it's not something where there's a lot of money. It's really hard to sell somebody who doesn't speak English, So he's a good fighter, but if we have to, you either take it, if he's a mandatory, you either have to fight it or you drop the belt, Fortunate for him though, that the WBA just stripped him. The WBA took it out of the equation. He didn't have to fight him, right? And he didn't have to vacate. The WBA hooked him up and stripped him for a violation that took place with the WBC. That the WBC fined him and gave him a pass on, but the WBA stripped him. So problem solved, right? Come on, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. This is a case of a good amount of milking going on. And honestly, man, I don't know which is worse, man. That Anthony Joshua would be afraid of getting in the ring with Deontay Wilder, or whether he doesn't want to get into the ring because he knows perfectly well he has no plans on fighting him. And that might honestly be the more reasonable explanation, is that he doesn't plan on fighting him. Because shout out to Dante's Boxing Nation, by the way. Because I listened to his conversation, his video on it, and he made a great point. He's like, why wouldn't you want to have a free commercial for a fight that you plan to make? By allowing Deontay Wilder into the ring, that means if that fight is serious and they're considering making it, then that's a free commercial. That's free hype. That's why you would want that. But why would he turn that down? Unless he's not trying to create a demand for the fight. He's trying to act, in my opinion, and I like I said, Dante's Boxing Nation was the one that really pointed that out to me. So it's not an original thought on my part. But yeah, he's not trying to hype it. He's not trying to build. He's trying to suppress interest in it. And that's what they're doing when they say that Deontay Wilder's not known in the United States. Deontay Wilder's not, he's not sellable. Oh, he's not a gentleman. Oh, he's not, he's not technically sound. He's just Windmill Wilder. He's never fought anybody. He doesn't make any money. All those things to try to convince his core fan base that they really don't want to see the fight. But if they let Deontay Wilder in the ring and Deontay Wilder gets in his face and they're going at it, then maybe his fight fans will want to see the fight. That could be the potential for that. But it is what it is, man. At the end of the day, either Anthony Joshua's scared or he's trying to milk his titles. It's one or the other is the explanation for why he wouldn't let him in the ring. Either he's milking his titles because he has an 8 to 10 fight plan, right, for 8 to 10 fighters for over 4 years, or he's scared. One or the other or both. And with that, I'm out. Peace.